not say that. So she can so though she may reasonably conclude, oh, okay, cool, like you didn't really need Diane for this, type of case. Other jurors may not think that. Other jurors may have been swayed by
Right.
Diane. That's one thing. But also another thing is like, let's say that you didn't even get someone else. Like like the the case that they had against you didn't need. I mean, the fact some jurors believe the fact that the prosecution even made it this far means that they
Right.
have some credible case.
Right.
So
That's right.
they
Agreed.
like I said, the fact that
Yep.
they would bring up things like the
Look at
window
all the
that you
money they
had.
spent. Look at all the time they spent
Right,
on this guy. He's
right,
obviously guilty. Cops don't
right,
lie.
right,
Why would they
right.
spend?
But
Why
like,
would they bring up all this bullshit and not be able to, and look so
right,
stupid? We're missing something. We're just not connecting the dots. And if you
right,
don't have a
right.
but Diane was so good
That
that she
that
literally didn't
yeah.
let anything past her. She knew all the dates, all the names. She addressed everything that they brought up. Everything they brought up was nonsense, but she addressed everything. She didn't miss anything because
Mark, this is
it was yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
sorry, right. My thing on this, right, is, and I do want to bring this up, but good example to you is Zach, right? If Zach
Right.
has Diane, Zach is not in prison right now. I truly,
Really?
truly believe that with
Yeah.
all my
He had a bad
because
lawyer, man.
the reason is right.
Yeah.
Everything that she picked out on your trial, the shoes, the laces, the
Right.
t-shirt, the every literally, I think we dismiss it as little things. They're huge things that put doubt
Yeah.
in the jury's
Right.
mind. There's no
Yeah.
way on earth I can preach this that Diane lets that jury think there's any kind of DNA or any kind of blood in
Right.
that van, where there's a small speck that could have got there in any way. The
Right.
jury, obviously, in their minds, still, and also people in the public still think there was a lot of blood and stuff
Right.
in that
There
van.
wasn't any blood.
People still think people
Right.
still think that he bought a can of sardines to mask the smell
Right.
of
Oh my
the
God.
body. People
Which is
genuinely believe that.
nonsense evidence.
It should
That's
be vinegar,
complete
but sure.
nonsense.
I mean, you
But
mask smells with
Diane
vinegar,
would have
but sure.
covered that. Yeah, Diane recovered these things, and
Right.
this is why I'm saying that the little things like the can of sardines, we can, whatever, but it's so important that I
Yeah.
don't think that other attorneys would have picked up on stuff like the laces and all this the minute stuff from
Right.
your trial.
And
I
she
don't
didn't.
think they
She
picked
didn't.
that up.
She didn't win. She didn't slack on anything. She literally.
No,
They knew that they were. I mean, I told you they agreed before trial that Diane was going to annihilate them. But she never let up once. She addressed everything that they said.
yeah,
She had something to say. No, that's not right. This is the way it is. She literally. I mean, I still feel so sorry for Zach. He didn't have money, or I don't know what was the situation. Was she a
oh,
court appointed
he had
attorney?
lawyers. He obviously had attorneys. And in the moment, if I'm being honest, I thought they did a good job in the moment. But there's literally people in my chat afterwards, and there's people I've spoken to afterwards that genuinely still think there's a load of blood in there. That he went
Right.
into a store and bought loads of Dettol, bleach and stuff. Well, actually, it was a packet. So,
Right.
like, because we were in the middle of COVID, the
His
beds in the
brother did
van.
really well last week.
Yeah,
Talked about it.
yeah, he
Really
did.
good.
He did, and he's explained a lot of this stuff to people.
Mm.
But there's jurors and also members of the public that are left still thinking that Zach did it because of
Right.
a can of sardines,
Right.
no body, but it didn't matter to them. They never investigated any of the dump sites. But these are things that I think I genuinely believe that Diane would have bashed
Right.
and said reasonable doubt. Why did he do this?
Right.
Why did he not do this? Why didn't they never questioned any of that stuff? Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So, I think the DA walked all over them. Diane, there's no way in the world Diane would have let that DA walk all over her. She would have walked all over him. And I know that I might be sounding a bit angry about it, but it's those small
Right.
things that there could be another innocent man out of jail or a prison right now. And that's why I don't want to belittle how well she did. I genuinely
Right.
worry that if you just had a normal public defender, that
Right. That I
half
might
of
have
this
lost.
Yeah, he would have
wouldn't be
gone out.
talking to you right now,
Would
mate.
have gone
I don't think
sideways.
we'd
Yeah,
be talking
I
to
agree
you.
with that. I
Um,
agree with that.
and not because I think that any different, just it's that minute detail that a fucking great attorney gets into that public defenders don't. And it scares me how many people are actually in prison right now because they couldn't afford to have a proper lawyer on their
Yeah.
side.
Listen to this detail. Because we've already talked about the smoking. What she did is there was 30,000 pages of discovery. Now you can do the searches. It's not like you're flipping through pages, but there was more discovery in my case than my primary attorney, Court Gatterdam, had ever been a part of. They inundated my attorneys with garbage. She went in and found, when it came to the smoking, Hickman, who was the coroner that didn't do the autopsy, but he was the one that he's the only one that could come up with the cause of death. So he was waiting. He's just an inexperienced pediatrician of some sort, just a regular doctor. He's not he's not an investigator, right? But he had to investigate, and part of his investigation was that he got all of Emily's health records from her whole life, or as long as back as they could get them. Diane went into Emily's health records and found like 15 years ago where they ask you if you're a smoker or not, and she checked yes because she was a smoker back then. You know what I mean? And that's the detail. And you're sitting there and why are they making a big deal about this smoking thing? And they're like, Emily was a smoker and my attorney just proved it. You know what I mean? That's what you're talking about, those little details. No one even noticed that, but I did. I was like, yeah, right there. Totally. That just proves it, right? Proves the point that the smoking wasn't a big deal. So yeah, she was that good of an attorney. She was that good. And yeah, you're probably not going to get that now.
I do want to take into a negative point about you're obviously free, thank fuck you're free and everything, and it's great. It is scary for me to think. Well, I think for all of us to think. I generally think the public defender, we might be looking at a different outcome, and we might not be interviewing you right now, because of the influence. Like if he can lie like this,
right,
in front of Dianne, and she picks it up. Imagine if there was a public defender there that can't pick up all these things.
And when Dylan says this man lies, he went into our text messages and he counted the amount of times we said love between when she first got her phone, which is in November, up until April, which was 2 months prior to her going missing. And I don't know how many times, like 100 times. We were using the word love all the time. Love this, I love you, love. And all of a sudden it stopped. It stopped. Whoa. And they didn't ever, how many times they used the word love between April and when she went missing? 0. You know what I mean? That's evidence to you that it's a troubled marriage. There's something going on, right? Emily started working from home. We stopped texting. He knew that. He's lying to the jury. He's trying to get you know, and that's not very difficult to understand. We've already been through this. That's what they do. They lie. It's not really a lie. He's not like lying about the amount of times that the word love got used and it did stop. But the rationale behind it stopping wasn't because we had a bad marriage. It was because we stopped texting completely because she started working from home. He knows that. He's lying. That's a lie.
Yeah.
You know, that's what cops do. That's how dirty these fucking guys are. And he didn't think my attorney was gonna find that. I mean, of course she found that. Of course she knew that. She's that good. She's like, you do know that she was working from home, you know. And it was just the jury's just like, I mean, it's not. It wasn't even close. She outmatched them. She and her Allie was her assistant, and so it wasn't just Diane. It was her assistant too. But they had 3 attorneys and the lead detective over there the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And she steamrolled them. She's just better caliber lawyer. I mean, and she didn't have to lie. They were lying. You know what I mean? So it was nothing for her to figure all that stuff out. And that was another piece of evidence. I don't know if you guys remember that. There's other stuff too that
so many.
The cord's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They made it sound like I took the cord off the hook, put it on the cooler, and then said, "Hey, look, it moved, or this doesn't belong here." That's not true. They're lying. That cord was on the cooler the whole time, and Diane proved it. And I'm telling you, she figured that out on the fly. I watched her figure that out. I'm telling you, man.
I agree.
I was like, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna prove that I didn't do that? Because that's awful. If they can prove that I took that off the hook and put it down there, and now I'm moving things, she's like, I got it. Don't worry. She's, you know what I mean? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. God,
I think
they're
that's the
fucking
point we're trying.
lying. They're lying. So she figured it
I,
out. Yeah.
Listen, I think that's the point we're making, and I think Charter said, "Oh, yeah, but Matt's free." But yeah, brilliant, Matt's free. We appreciate him on that.
Mm,
I think the point I'm trying to make, and I think what we're trying to discuss here is how fine lines work
right.
between guilty and not guilty. Sorry, Dr. Hines, go on.
Not